I'm Ashton Addison from EventChain.io for Investment Pitch Media and FinTech News Network. On this episode of Blockchain Interviews, we have Lawrence Lerner, the CEO of Pithia Inc. Welcome to the show, Lawrence.
Ashton, thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. I'd love to know a little bit more about Pithia. I heard that it was a VC fund funded from the Rchain cooperative. Could you explain a little bit about your company?
Sure thing. So Pithia, as you said, was funded as a loan from the Rchain cooperative. The cooperative's building a third generation blockchain platform based on mobile process calculus, highly scalable to 40,000 transactions a second, and uses something called namespaces to have both public and private namespaces for basically blockchains that you can do transactions on concurrently.
Very interesting. So I know there are a lot of issues in the cryptocurrency world with scalability of blockchains. Bitcoin and Ethereum, there have been scalable discussions for years now. So is the Rchain cooperative solving these solutions in an enterprise environment?
Absolutely. Well, the platform is being built very broadly to build and foster an ecosystem that will allow you to do highly scalable transactions, secure, and be able to provide concurrency by design in the Rchain language. And that's all being built from the ground up. Pithia, as the investment arm, is looking for businesses and enterprises that are looking for highly scalable solutions. We're providing funding. We work pretty much as a traditional venture capital company, but it's in the blockchain space, so we're very flexible about how we do certain deals.
Awesome. So as a company that's looking to adopt blockchain technology, why should I go to Pithia and use the Rchain over some other blockchains?
Well, that's a good set of questions. So Rchain, I think for the reasons that I've mentioned, we have a phenomenal ecosystem of developers and other partners. Pithia is pretty forward-looking, and I think one of the things that we've done, my background has been in the enterprise software world and helped launch platforms on the internet. I've been doing internet development since the 80s and then ran some large consulting companies, helped Motorola launch their smartphone strategy, actually started in crypto in the 90s. And I think some lessons learned are there are foundational things, there are dependencies that you need to do. So the first things that we're looking at are wallets, exchanges, identity solutions, things that you're going to need to do millions of times an hour if you're going to be successful with any kind of scalable solution around healthcare, insurance, airports, supply chain. So that's where our first set of investments are. We're betting on and we're looking to shoot some fish in a barrel, as it were, because if you don't have those things, it's pretty hard to interoperate with any other systems.
I completely agree. I myself have looked into the regulation of smart contracts and adopting this technology in business and have said to legislators, if there's a broken foundation, there's really no point in trying to extend that into business when you don't have a working scalable blockchain that has wallets that are easy to use, interoperable. So I completely agree in that sense.
My opinion, your first killer app is a great wallet, one that does that full round trip. Folks like you and I who are trading tokens, even for ourselves, doing a little bit, there's a little bit of effort. I think for people who are new to crypto space and doing that kind of online work, it's a big barrier to entry. So building that is important, and getting the standards around that is even more important. That's why one of the first things that we did with our first Catena One fund was build a working group around identity. And we've brought in the top companies, the Sovereign Foundation, Life ID, Trusted Key, Verify, to build those. And we're giving away all of the thought leadership protocols and standards that they're creating. Why? Because we want people to come to us and say, hey, we've read this, now we're going to build some great things on the blockchain, on Rchain, and it's a lot like the early days of the internet.
I completely agree in that sense. And to touch on digital identification systems, I believe that it's going to be absolutely necessary for businesses and individuals to identify themselves if they're making any loans or any transactions on a blockchain network. And currently in our most popular network, Ethereum, there really is no identification system. It's very hard to prove identity and receive a loan on that blockchain.
You're absolutely right. And that's what the first two investments that we've made, second one is under embargo. We'll announce that on the 26th. But Life ID is one of the first investments that we took. And that is exactly the problem that they're solving with digital identifiers. And there are already 3 companies. Life ID is not built. It's being built on the Rchain platform. That's not built. But there are already 3 companies that are signed up to build on their platform because they see how the technology works. But more importantly, they're solving a specific business problem, not selling the technology problem. So that was a great point you made.
That's great to hear. So can we talk a little bit about the Pithia investment thesis and what does Pithia look for high investment opportunities?
All the fundamentals and a little bit of blockchain tweak with it. Excellent management team, well-defined plan. Look for 18 months of strategy of how you'd use the funding that we would potentially give you, what's it going to be used for, and how does it get there. Ideas are great, planning is great, that's about 10%. Everything else is around execution. So we look for management teams that have got great track records around delivering products, platforms. And then when you look at the blockchain side of it, is there an earnable token? How does the data get into the blockchain? Especially if you're taking and disrupting an existing business, there are nuances to decentralization on the blockchain and distributing the information, especially for large enterprises. So the questions around that are the ones that we want to see them answer, or at least thinking about. We can provide injection of thought leadership, talent, human capital as well. So those are some of the things that we'd look for in any investment.
I completely agree with you there. And one thing that I like to say is that a project doesn't build itself, a team builds a project. So without a strong team, you really don't have much.
That's extremely well said. And you also want to look for how long has the team been together, what have they done and delivered, and how are they building into the larger ecosystem, especially at the enterprise level. Some of the early stage or concept stage companies we work with, it's fine for them to come in and say, hey, we're entering a market, especially B2C. But in the enterprise space, you usually have a consortium. If you think about a lot of the conversations that I've had with large enterprises around food safety and supply chain, how do you go from the farm to the distributor, to the manufacturer, and then back out to the retailer. It requires a lot of collaboration and coordination among them, and that takes time, and it will take a few years to evolve. But we do see some companies that are doing things very basic in healthcare, like pulling data sets in, taking insurance documents, the claim forms, and pulling together all that information. Everybody can be all in on that pretty easily without having to change a bunch of regulations or adopt many new systems.
I completely agree. So if there's companies that are looking for investment, are you guys limiting your investment to North America, America? I believe you guys are based out of America, but is it a global effort or is it just inside of America?
So we're based in Seattle, in Redmond, Washington. But we really look at investments all over the world. I'm routinely speaking to investors and prospective companies all across Europe, in Asia, that are looking to work with us because they believe in what they've seen in the Rchain technology and the amount of things that we've delivered, as well as the reputation of some of the team members that have attracted them. And it's been really rewarding. We've talked to a lot of super smart people who are solving business problems versus selling us technology.
That's great. So could you speak a little bit about the development of the Rchain platform in which people are going to be adopting? I believe the 0.1 first node came out in the beginning of this year. What are we seeing in Q3, Q4 2018 for Rchain?
Great questions. So work backwards a little. Q4, we will go live with our mainnet for the Rchain platform. And you've got a team of more than 20 dedicated developers who are working full-time building that out. So June, July, we'll see the testnet go live. And the team has launched nodes, Rolang, the language that's being built from the ground up based on mobile process calculate, which is concurrent by design. It is the communications layer, the storage layer. As we said, the nodes are up, and can find the Genesis block, talk to each other. So all of these packages are being built and rolled out. And I think one of the huge credits to the development team is the fact that we've hit every release date, not because they're pedantically marching towards numbers, but it's because they're refining their approach and being very structured and releasing solid code.
That's great. Thank you for that. So if there are enterprise companies or any companies looking for investment and they're interested in questions from Pithia or an investment opportunity, what is the best way for those people to find out more information?
So come to Pithia.com, write to us at pitches@Pithia.com. We're looking for great ideas. And if they want to learn more about Rchain and the people who are developing it, developer.rchain.coop.
Great. Thank you, Lawrence. And thank you for your time. This has been a wonderful blockchain interviews.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ashton. Have a great day.